What's up guys, and welcome back to Software and Hardware Solutions, and today we're talking about Call of Duty Warzone and its latest season, which is Season 5. Now, I went through this update, updated my game, went into a couple of matches, checked out the gameplay, and saw a couple of things that was wrong in the game. Now, I'm going to go over them today and show you what you should be changing in the game to get the best performance out of your game for Season 5. Now, something I just want to point out is Call of Duty has changed their name from Call of Duty Warzone 2 and Modern Warfare 2 to just Call of Duty and Call of Duty Warzone. I don't know why that's a thing. I don't know if the developers are still smoking crack, but I do have minor things that I have to go over because I do feel that the developers are still smoking crack. One thing I would give them the benefit of the doubt is that they might have not smoked that much crack when they did this update, because this time the update itself isn't broken. For instance, when you go into a game, your FPS isn't as bad. Yes, with the latest update, you are dropping frames. I'm reading it up on Reddit. I'm reading it up on social media platforms. So don't worry, I got you covered. This is why I'm making this video, is to show you what you can do with Windows in the config file and in the game settings to have the best smooth gameplay experience you can possibly be having right now in Season 5. Doesn't matter what machine you are running. It could be low tier, mid tier, to high end, to a NASA machine. Follow my guidelines and you should be good to go. Alright, let's jump straight into this video. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so the first thing I just want to go ahead and do is this over here. I just want to give a massive shout out to every single person out there that became a member on my YouTube channel. It really means a lot that you guys became members on my YouTube channel and that is supporting my YouTube channel as much as I'm trying to support everyone out there as best I can by helping you guys out with this game. It really means a lot to me. Shout out to every single person in here. It really means a lot. Alright, so down in the description down below, I'll leave a link to this webpage. This is the new season's patch notes, and then you can go ahead and check out the battle pass and everything to do with the latest update. Now, you can just go ahead and go down to the description down below and click on this link over here. It will be down in the description. Alright, let's jump straight into this video. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so the first thing I highly recommend you go ahead and do is close out of every single program you have open now. It doesn't matter what programs you have open, close all of them. If you're running this game through Steam, if you're running this game through Battle.net, close out of everything and quit out of it and just be on your desktop. Alright, let's jump through the first couple of steps. You're going to come to the start button over here, go to the settings gear icon, and go to update and security. Make sure that your Windows is up to date on a regular basis. Please go ahead and do this. Now, as you can see, I have an download and install here. I will do that afterwards. I highly recommend you go ahead and do this. If you see this download and install, please go ahead and do that. Please click on check for updates. It doesn't matter if you're running Windows 10 or Windows 11. It's very crucial for your machine to stay up to date. As much as the game is updating, your machine needs to update as well. From here, you're going to click on the home button and you're going to come here to where it says gaming. You're going to go to game mode and make sure your game mode is turned on. For Season 5, game mode should still be on. Leave this on over here. If you have it off, go ahead and turn it on. From here, you're going to go to graphics settings and you're going to come inside here. Now, I highly recommend that you turn off hardware accelerated GPU scheduling for Season 5 as well. With this on, it can actually give you input latency, which is bad, and you don't want that, so turn it off. If you have this on, I highly recommend you go ahead and turn this off. Alright, so a lot of people might have this over here where they had their Call of Duty inside here and put on high performance. Basically, I'm just going to make an example. For instance, I'm going to go to Call of Duty and then go inside here and then go to the exe file and then have it over here. Now, as you can see, it says Call of Duty HQ, and then you just go to options and you go to high performance and you say save. A lot of people might have this inside here, and I highly recommend you go ahead and remove it. Please go ahead and do that, because it can actually cause stuttering in the game. You don't need this inside here, you really don't. Some other games works perfectly fine having this at, options, high performance, and using your GPU to its maximum performance. I don't recommend it with the latest update for Season 5 with Call of Duty. Go ahead and remove it. You just click on it and say remove. That's all you need to do. From here, you're going to go to the home button again, and then from here, you're going to click on privacy. You're going to scroll all the way down to where you see it says background apps. You're going to click on this and then turn this from on to off. If you're a Windows 10 user like me, all these things are going to run in the background while it's on for no reason, and it can use your RAM, your CPU, and your VRAM usage, and you don't want it to do that while you are busy playing your game. So I highly recommend you go ahead and turn this off. If you're a Windows 11 user, you have to individually switch these things off. I did not tell you to install Windows 11. You are the reason why you have Windows 11. If you're currently sitting with Windows 11 is not optimized. It's not a good Windows, okay? I know I'm going to get a lot of hate comments down below saying that, yo, dude, no, Windows 11 is the best. I actually don't give a fuck, okay? I really don't. But if you're a Windows 11 user, go Google how to disable these things, because you have to individually disable them one by one. And I'm not going to spoon feed you anymore by Googling and showing you how to do that. You can go do that yourself. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump straight into the next step. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do is this over here. Go ahead and update your graphics card drivers to the latest version. It doesn't matter if you're an AMD user or an Nvidia user like me, please go ahead and update your graphics card drivers to the latest version. Right now, the latest version is 536.67, and they're going to be releasing a new driver in the next couple of days. So please make sure to keep an eye out for that. For AMD users and Nvidia users, they will be releasing a new driver update. So make sure you just go to check for updates and that you have the latest driver installed, which is literally called 536.67. It's the latest driver. Now, I had a lot of comments down below saying, yo dude, I roll back drivers to this one over here, this specific one, and I get more FPS out of my game. If you are one of those unlucky users where you basically update your graphics card drivers to the latest version and you're seeing performance loss, I highly recommend then rolling back your driver to the previous one or the one before that. You can actually go ahead and do that and see if you actually see a significantly increase in your FPS. But right now, at this very moment for the latest season, I recommend that you use 536.67 for Nvidia users, AMD, also the latest graphics card driver update. Alright, let's jump straight into the next step. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so the next 3 steps that I'm about to show you right now plays a very big role on your machine, and I highly recommend you go ahead and do it at least once a day or once a week. Please go ahead and try and remind yourself to do this. You're going to press the Windows key and R, and you're going to delete everything inside here. You're going to type in temp, just like this, and press enter. Now I'm going to move this on my other screen, and you're going to click on anything inside here, press Control and A, and press delete on your keyboard, and say continue. You're going to delete everything inside here. Now as you can see, I don't have permission to delete this. It's not that I don't have permission, it's because Windows is currently using that file over here, and that's why I can't delete it. So even if you try again, it will not delete it. You just say cancel and make sure everything is deleted. You might have everything deleted inside here, or you might have a couple of files that says it can't be deleted. It's because Windows is currently using that file. Close out of this. You're going to press the Windows key again and R. This time you're going to put a percentage symbol in front of the P and a percentage symbol in front of the T. So it's percentage, temp, percentage, and press enter. And you're going to click on anything inside here and then press Control and A and delete on your keyboard. Now you might have a bunch of bullshit inside here, so I highly recommend you click on everything inside here. Do this for all kind of items and say continue. Now as you can see, I just deleted everything out of that. You might have 1 or 2 folders that can't be deleted because Windows is currently using that file. So you close out of this. Let this just finish. I don't know why it's on 99%, but your next step will be Windows key and R again, and then you're going to do this. You're going to delete everything inside here and type in prefetch just like this. And you're going to press enter. You're going to say continue to the command prompt over there, click on anything, Control and A, highlight everything, and press delete on your keyboard. Do this for all kind of items, and then say try again. And you're going to say do this for all kind of items, and say skip. Windows is currently using these 2 files, and then you're going to close out of this. Then the very last step that you're going to need to do is go to your recycling bin. I'm just going to move this on my other screen. Right click on it, and then say empty recycling bin, and say yes. You might just remove now a bunch of gigs off your machine that you haven't done this. So if you haven't done this in a very, very long time, you could be deleting like 40 gigs, 50 gigs, 100 gigs. I mean, a lot of temporary files that your machine creates that you don't need anymore, and you need to manually delete them yourself. Okay, so I highly recommend you go ahead and do that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do is, and it's the most important step that you're going to need to take before we get into the rest of the settings and before we get into the game. We're going to go through the config file of Call of Duty itself. So you're going to click on the little file explorer over here, and you're going to go to documents and go to Call of Duty, go to players, and then go over here where it says options3.cod22. Just open this up with any editing software like a notepad or anything like that that you can edit with. You're going to scroll all the way down right to the bottom like this. Now this is what we're going to have a look at, is this over here. Now, right now, this very moment, I'm just going to highlight this over here because this is the only things we are going to be looking at right now. Right now, I'm running a 9700K. It is an 8-core, 8-thread CPU and a RTX 2060 OC overclocked. My CPU is overclocked, my GPU is overclocked, 16 gigs of RAM with different timings, so they are a little bit faster than your actual normal RAM. Okay, XMP is enabled, and I overclocked my RAM. Okay, now, something I want to point out is this over here, the thread count handling, right? This is your renderer worker count, right? So I have 8 inside here because I have 8 cores and 8 threads. So I put my total cores inside here with my specific Intel i7 9700K. I put 8 here, my total cores. You're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to put your total cores inside here, and I highly recommend you go ahead and do that. A lot of people has asked me the question, yo dude, a lot of people are saying like I should half my cores like this. So if I had to half my cores, I would half it to 4 because that's half of 8. So I would put it to 4. Now, with the latest season, I don't see any improvement by halving the cores at all. I don't see any improvement, no FPS boost, nothing like that. I'm not doing like 10 to 15 to 20 FPS more. What I'm seeing is if I put my total cores inside here, my game runs perfectly smooth on every single upscaling. So I highly recommend that you go ahead and put your total cores inside here. No, not your threads, not your performance cores, your actual cores, okay? You're going to go look what your cores are, what specific machine you are running, and put your total cores inside there. Okay, now, this plays a very big role inside the game as well, but we're not going to tweak anything inside here. Now, as you can see, I have this over here where it's 0.9. Okay, the reason why it's saying 0.9, because I have my video memory scale inside the game at 90%. If yours is lower, like 50, it would say 50. Okay, or let's say 75, then it will be 75, so 0.75. So you don't need to change anything inside here because you're going to change it inside the game. Now this plays a very big role inside this game still today, is to change this from true to false. Okay, a lot of people actually see an increase in FPS by changing this from true to false. You just delete the true and put false in there. Now for me personally, I don't see any FPS increase by changing this from true to false. I've tested this multiple times on different machines. It doesn't do anything for me. Okay, so I don't recommend changing it. If you want to go ahead and try it out, you can go ahead and do that. It's your own personal preference. Okay, now this one over here also plays a very big role on your game itself. So it will have an equal symbol over here, and then it's going to be one of, and then it will say which one you are using. Okay, so full mic SMAA, and then full mic SMAA 2 times, and all that nice nonsense and bullshit. Now, the nice thing is, you don't need to change anything inside the config for this either. Okay, you're going to do that in the game. Now, something a lot of people has been changing as well that I've seen on videos is this over here. They changed the version to 2 or 0, and then apparently they get more FPS. Now, I'm going to be honest with you right now. I have changed this myself, and I don't see nothing change. Changing it to 0, changing it to 2, no difference. I don't see any like less input latency. I don't see maybe less stuttering or more FPS. So I leave it at 1. And I recommend that you go ahead and leave it at 1 as well. Okay, this one over here is your film grain, and I have mine at 0.00. That's in-game settings. You're going to change that inside the game, not inside here, so you don't even need to go ahead and touch this. This one over here, a lot of people are also changing from true to false to get more FPS in their game, and I've seen this on multiple videos. Now, for me, personally, if you're following my guidelines, I recommend that you don't put false here. It's actually going to fuck your game up, and I don't recommend you go ahead and do that. The only thing that you're going to change is this. You can maybe go over and change this to false and try it out yourself. Maybe you benefit from it, maybe you don't, but I don't really recommend it. But it's your own personal preference. Go try it out, okay? This plays the biggest role in this game. The reason why I say that is, if you've never changed this before, and it's on its default, let's say it's on 3, it's on 4, it's on 5, some random ass number, okay? You're going to change it to your total cores, and you can go from 20 to 25 to 30 FPS more inside your game by just putting this at its total cores. That's all you're going to need to do. And then from here, you're going to click on this and click save. Now, something I just want to mention is this over here. If you went to go ahead and now change stuff inside here, which I mentioned by watching other videos, and apparently they work and apparently they don't, and whatever with my testing and stuff like that, and you go ahead and change stuff and your game just doesn't want to boot anymore, so this is a safety feature basically, your game is basically fucked, it doesn't want to launch, or your game crashes all the time, there is a safety feature that you can do. You can close out of this, and then you come inside the same folder, so documents, Call of Duty, players, come to this file over here that says options3.contra2, right click on it and delete it. It will recreate a new one for you once you launch Call of Duty, and you should be safe. everything will go back to its default, and then you can change it to my settings or your own personal settings. Alright, let's jump straight into the next step. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do is just right click on your desktop and go to Nvidia control panel and open up Nvidia control panel, and once it's opened, you're going to need to do this. You're going to come to adjust image settings with preview and make sure you have this on use the advanced 3D image settings and click on take me there. Now, before you click on this, okay, it's basically just going to take you to manage 3D settings, okay? But before you click on anything inside here, I highly recommend you go down over here to where it says use my preference, right? Change this to from performance to quality, okay? If you have a good enough machine. If you have a mid-tier machine, you change this to quality, okay? If you have a very low budget gaming machine, go to performance and then click on this, okay? That's what you're going to need to do. I highly recommend you go ahead and do that. Now with my machine, it's good enough, so I can actually leave it over there and then go over here. You're going to click on take me there, and it's basically just going to take you to manage 3D settings, and you're going to come inside here. Now all of these settings plays a very big role inside Call of Duty itself. It really does, and it plays a very big role on every single game you're going to be playing on your machine itself. Okay, now a lot of people has asked me, yo dude, why don't you go to programs and then do like Call of Duty itself, like selecting the program and then doing only Call of Duty. The reason why I don't do that is because if you want to get a benefit out of all your games, not just Call of Duty, out of every single game you are going to be playing right now, you're going to follow this global settings to the T. And you should be good to go with every single game you are playing right now. And leave a comment down below if this actually helps for other games. And just mention the game if it's running smoother or anything like that. And then smash the motherfucking like button as well. Because this is top tier settings for gaming in general. Alright, so I'm not going to go over every single thing, every single video I do, and explain everything from overs. I'm not going to do that. Alright, so you're just going to copy every single thing inside here. Basically, just copy every single thing inside here, and then scroll down. Now, something I want to point out is this. I went to go ahead and checked out Call of Duty Season 5 with these settings to see if it actually works like this, and if I'm getting performance loss or stuttering in my game by having this like this. As you can see, these things have changed now by me. Okay, so open GL rendering GPU. You actually select your GPU inside here, but mine's on auto select. Power management mode, I had mine on optimal power. Shader cache at default driver. Okay, I had my quality at quality. Okay, allow off and then on, and then off. Okay, now the best settings you can use for every single game you are playing right now, plus Season 5, this is what you're going to need to change. OpenGL rendering GPU, you're going to select your GPU inside here, you're going to scroll down, you go to power management mode, you click on this, and you go to prefer maximum performance, shader cache, you're going to click on this, and you're going to click on 100 gigs, just like this, and then you're going to scroll down, and then you're going to go to where it says quality, you're going to click on this, and put it on high performance. These are the only things you are going to change right now. Now, something I just want to point out is this over here. A lot of people has been asking me this question over here, and I'm going to scroll up to it. This one over here, which is low latency mode. A lot of people has commented down below, yo dude, what should I put this on? Okay, so I'm going to explain this one at least to you guys. So, low latency mode is just in general for your machine to perform better with each other. The CPU and the GPU wants to talk to one another much quicker. Now, to do that, you're going to need to turn this on. Okay, if you have an on option, I highly recommend you put it on. If you have the on option. If you only have ultra, it means it's overriding it, and it means that you need to select ultra. So if you only have the ultra option, select ultra. Go ahead and select ultra. I have on, so I'll leave mine on, and this is the settings you're going to be using for the latest season. Okay, you're going to apply the settings. Don't worry, your screen might flash a couple of times. It's just applying the settings for you. Alright, from here, you are going to go over here where it says config surround and physics, and you're going to come inside here. So this is where your physics are handled, basically the physics of your games and stuff like that. So I highly recommend you come to processor and come over here to your dedicated GPU. Select your dedicated GPU and say apply if you haven't done that already. From here, you're going to go to adjust desktop color settings, and you're going to come inside here. Now, as you can see, this is my main screen over here and my other two monitors. Now, something I want to point out is this over here. You can do this with your machine, and your game will look much, much better. The contrast, the depth of field, the way the game looks, everything just feels better, looks better. It looks really good with these settings right here. Alright, so 50% on the brightness, because you can change the brightness on your game itself, not inside here. Leave it at 50, you don't want to change it inside here. Okay, contrast, 65% is a very sweet spot for all types of monitors. Gaming monitors, normal screens, laptop displays, 65 over here. If you have this option, okay, you're going to come down to this, digital vibrance. Digital vibrance plays the biggest role on how the game looks. Everything popping in color and stuff like that. But one thing I just want to mention is this. If you have very bad eyes and you're wearing glasses, I do not recommend pushing this too high. Okay, so you're going to click on image 3 over here and you can actually see the image, and then if you put it all the way down it becomes black and white. Okay, try it yourself, you'll see it becomes black and white. You're going to put it all the way up to 50. This is its default. Now you're going to see a huge difference between 50% and let's say 75. There's a huge difference. Okay, I recommend for people that has bad eyesight to have it at 75. Don't go over it. You can try 80. That's maybe okay, but I don't recommend it. 75 should be good for you. But if you have no problems with your eyes whatsoever, I highly recommend that you go with 95 over here. It's been a sweet spot of mine ever since this game came out. So I recommend that you play around with this. It's your own personal preference, but like I said, 95 is a very good sweet spot. And I highly recommend you go ahead and apply these settings for your game. Alright, let's jump straight into the game settings. Let me show you the best settings you can use inside the latest season. Right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I'm in the game right now, and I'm doing about 130 FPS, and yes, I'm doing 130 FPS. The reason why is because I'm recording as well with OBS, and it does use like a little bit of frames. So normally I would do 150 over here. With the latest update, Season 5, I'm doing 150 FPS in this menu selection right here where I'm now, without recording, and then also without having my background picture moving with Wallpaper Engine. When I switch that off and I don't record, I do 150 where I'm at right now. Now, yes, Call of Duty has changed completely. It literally still looks like I'm going to select a Netflix series. I don't know why it looks like this. I don't know why Call of Duty couldn't just be simple, where it's multiplayer, single player, you know, Plunder, Resurgence, or whatever, instead of this big ass screen where we can look for a series to watch. But anyways, that's a rant on its own. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump straight through the settings. So you're going to come over here to the little key icon over here and go to graphics, and you're going to go to the quality tab over here. Now, one thing I just want to mention is the first thing you're going to need to do is display. Go to display and make it to full screen exclusive. I highly recommend that you go ahead and put it on full screen exclusive. The reason why I say that is you will get less input latency when you have it on full screen exclusive. Not full screen borderless, just put it on full screen exclusive. You're going to come to quality and you're going to come inside here. Right, ladies and gentlemen, so this is my settings. I'm currently running for Season 5 and I've been running it for Season 4 as well, and it runs really well on my machine. Now, yet again, I'm going to go over my machine specs. It is a 9700K overclocked and a water cooling loop on it. It is an RTX 2060 OC and it's overclocked. My RAM is 16 gigs and overclocked with shortened timings. Okay, that's my current machine that I'm running. This is why I'm using this upscaling. My machine can actually run this upscaling, which is the Intel version and ultra quality. Now, I had comments down below on my previous video saying, yo dude, I don't use this upscaling because I do less FPS with this upscaling. Now, the reason why you are doing less FPS with this upscaling is because your machine isn't capable of handling this correctly. Okay, a lot of machines can, a lot of latest machines can handle this really, really well, especially if you're running an RTX graphics card and it's a newer version or a newer version of AMD's graphics cards, and you've got a newer Ryzen CPU or a newer Intel CPU. You should be good to go on this upscaling. The reason why I use it is because the game looks really, really good. For Warzone and multiplayer, this looks really, really good. This is the upscaling I'm using. Now I'm going to go over this. For high-end machines out there, if you are a high-end machine user, use this upscaling. This one over here, Intel, ultra quality, 90% on the video memory scale, normal, high, high, and high. Okay. Another one would be, if you're still running a really decent machine, Nvidia image scaling on ultra quality, and then have your own sharpness over here. Filmic SMA T2 times, normal, 90% again, normal, high, high, and high. Now, for the people out there that is running mid-tier machines, I recommend that you go ahead and use AMD FSR 2.1. It will overwrite this overwrite that, and then you're going to change this to 75. You just type in 75 and enter. Now, if you've got a really low-end machine and you're struggling with FPS, you're going to click on this again and type in 50 and press enter. So it uses less VRAM on your graphics card, so it doesn't thermal throttle your GPU or make your GPU run out of its highest that it can go to, and then it starts struggling. So I recommend you go ahead and put this at 50%. Then you're going to change this from normal to low. There's no physical difference between normal and low. Your game won't look like that. It will still look like this. Don't worry. Your game will still look perfectly fine at low. But what you're going to do is you're going to do way more FPS. Trust me on this. One thing I do recommend you don't change. This needs to stay on high. This needs to stay on high. And this needs to stay on high. Please don't put this down. If you put this down, your game's going to look like dog shit. And you don't want that. Okay. A lot of people are also preferring Fidelity FX Cache and having their own strength inside you. I don't use this anymore at all. I don't use this for Fidelity FX Cache as an upscaling with my specific rig. So your own personal preference on the strength here. A lot of people are using Fidelity FX Cache with high-end machines to medium-end machines. So it literally does depend on the machine that you're running, what upscaling you are going to be using. But if you are using Fidelity FX Cache, please go ahead and do this. Filmic SMAAT 2 times. Do not put this at SMAAT 2 times, right? The reason why I say that is this helps you not get jagged edges. Like the walls, characters, trees, and stuff like that, there won't be jagged edges. If you change it to this, you are going to get jagged edges in your game, and you don't want that. It's not pleasing to the eye. But if you are losing frames in the game, a lot of frames, and all you care about is the game running and functioning correctly, then you can change it to this. Yeah, some stuff might be like, jagged or pixelated, but your game will run better, okay? Anti-analyzing, always at normal. This, you then always keep at 50. If you are struggling with FPS, 50%. You can try 75, like I said. You could try 65 even. Just try this out, okay? Low again, high, high, and high. This is what you're going to go for. Now, a lot of people also use Nvidia DLSS, and then they go here, and then they change this to something inside here. Now, if you are an Nvidia user and you use Nvidia DLSS, I do recommend selecting quality, because if you select balance or performance or ultra performance, your game blurs on the left and right hand side of your screen and looks intensely fucking bad. And I don't recommend it. I really don't, but if you are an Nvidia DLSS user, keep it at quality. If you're seeing you losing FPS, go to balance, but I don't recommend performance or ultra performance. Your game looks like dog shit. Then you might as well just go to a different upscaling, okay? But if your machine prefers DLSS, go with DLSS, and then please go with quality and then your own personal sharpness on Nvidia DLSS. It's going to be your own personal setting inside here. Okay, now, something I want to point out is this. AMD FSR 1.0 is a shit show. You can try this out. I don't recommend it, but you can try it out. So it's either going to be Fidelity FX Cache, AMD FSR 2.1, Nvidia image scaling, Nvidia DLSS, or this that I'm using. This is what I'm using right now. Okay, I have my video memory scale at 90%. I have this at normal, high, high, and high. These are my settings, okay, with my specific machine. Now, a lot of people might have a better machine than me, and they do these exact same settings that I'm showing you right here, right now that I'm using, and they do way less FPS than me, okay? Number one reason could be you have Windows 11 on your machine, all right? It's installed. That could be one of the reasons why, okay? Another reason could be your CPU is way stronger than your GPU, or the other way around. Your GPU is way stronger than your CPU, okay? Your CPU is way stronger than your GPU. One way or another, all right? That's why this upscaling isn't giving you the FPS that I'm getting, and you have a better machine than me. That's just an example to put out there, because a lot of people pair up CPUs and GPUs that don't run neck and neck next to each other, so they bottleneck their machine. That's a common known issue, okay? And Call of Duty, in general, if you bottlenecking your machine, the game's gonna suck, alright? So go with a different upscaling, okay? I've gone over them, choose one, and you should be good to go. Alright, scroll down. From here, you're going to have clutter draw distance at short, particle lighting at low, particle quality level at very low, bullet impacts and sprays, which they basically took out from the first Modern Warfare, have it on. It has no impact on FPS, your CPU, your RAM, or anything. It says CPU low. Alright? So don't care about this. Turn it on. It won't do anything to your machine. Damage layers, own personal preference. If you want to see that, it literally tells you on the right hand side what these things do. It literally spoon fed you on what it does on the right hand side. It gives you what it does. Alright? Anyways, shader quality, low. You don't need to push this up. This is just an FPS hogger in the game. Leave it at low. Tessellation, completely turned off. You do not need any of these. Turn it completely off. On-demand texture streaming, off, off, always off. Don't touch this. This is going to download the textures on the fly through your internet and download it to your drive. So don't use it. It's literally shit. You don't need it at all. Turn it off. Alright, streaming quality, low. Volumetric quality, low. Physics quality, off. Water quality is still an option in Season 5. Anyways, don't choose any of these. I guess if you are a person that plays this game for the scenery, which I don't know who the fuck plays this game for the scenery, then you might as well go to the beach outside your house. Instead of your PC, go outside your house and go look at the water like the ocean. Have this at default. You do not need these settings, okay? It's just an FPS hogger. Default this. Shadow map resolution, very low. Screen space shadows, off. Spot shadow quality, low. Spot cache, high. Not ultra, not medium, not low. High for Season 5. It works perfectly fine. And the reason why I say you put this at high is because in the Nvidia control panel settings, we changed that shader cache to 100. So this plays a role with it. So keep this at high. Okay? Particle lighting at low. Ambient occlusion, off. Off, always off. Leave it the fuck off. You are not playing the single player game. You are not playing a raid. Don't turn these things on. Turn it the fuck off. Okay. Screen space reflections, off. Static reflection quality, low. Weather grid volumes. I don't know why this is an option store. I don't know why Season 5 hasn't taken the shit out. But turn it off. Not low, not normal, not high, not ultra. Turn it the fuck off. You don't need it. Okay? Depth of field, off. World motion blur, off. Weapon motion blur, off. Film grain is your own personal preference. I have seen people pull this up. I have mine at 0.00. From here, you're going to apply these settings. Now, this is my own personal preference. You can copy my settings if you want to. It's your own personal preference on the view. I can't tell you what to do inside here. But this is, for me, my best settings. Okay? Something that plays a very important role is this over here. It's keyboard and mouse. That they have still not removed this out of the mouse settings. Nvidia Reflex low latency mode, have it on plus boost. I highly recommend you go ahead and put it on plus boost for Season 5 as well. Now, I still don't know why. Like I said, the developers are on crack, so that's why it's in the mouse settings. A graphics setting being in the mouse settings doesn't make a fuck sense to me. But anyways, with the new season that came out, they still haven't moved it back to the graphics settings. So you're gonna, if you don't know where this is, it's here in the mouse settings, which is fucking retarded. Anyways, let's go over to this interface. Something I want to show you guys is this over here. It plays a very big role in this game. Scroll all the way to the bottom. You can have inverted flash. So at night when I'm playing this game, my entire room doesn't go white when I get flashbanged. It turns black. So you go inverted flash, so instead of it literally going white, it will go dark. It's actually a nice feature in the game, and a lot of people aren't taking advantage of it, so I highly recommend take advantage of this one over here. Have all of these settings the same like mine, and you should be good to go. Alright? From here, you're going to go to color customization, and then go to filter 2. Have filter 2 on, this on both, 100%, 100%. Scroll all the way down to where you see your enemy. Okay? Your party and your team. Make your party and your team the exact same color, so you can just go ahead and choose a color or go to custom color and create your own color, right? Have your party and your team the same. I highly recommend you go ahead and do that, okay? Your enemy should be a bright ass color. I have mine as magenta pink, as you can see over here, and I recommend using a bright ass color. Whatever, it just shouldn't be the same as anything inside here, okay? So red, normally it's red. You can choose whatever color you want here. I have mine as magenta pink. You can copy this code over here, and it will give you my exact same color. You're going to apply these settings, and then this is going to be the most important step that you're going to need to do, is this over here. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so this is the most important step that you're going to need to do after changing everything I just showed you now. You're going to need to click on Restart Shader Optimization like this and click on Restart. Okay? Now, something I just want to mention is this over here. Eco mode is now a thing in COD. Okay? So, I don't know when COD became eco-friendly. I honestly don't know when they became eco-friendly. But, anyways, there's options here for this now. Okay? As you can see on the right-hand side, it tells you what it does. Eco mode. Enable power saving feature. Now, I don't know. If you're on a laptop, I guess you can go with minimal or full. But if you're on a gaming machine, turn it the fuck off. You don't need it. Like, this isn't going to save our environment, like, honest to fuck lord, or save your machine. It's not going to do jack shit if you're running a gaming machine. Maybe a laptop, minimal, full, but with a gaming machine, a desktop machine, off. You don't need this. Restart shader optimization is the most important role you're going to need to do after changing all of the settings I just showed you now. You're going to click on it, click on restart shader optimization, and then close out of your game, restart your game, and then it will apply your settings. At the top left corner here, your game will open and it will say installing shaders. Let it finish to 100% and let it disappear, and you should be good to go. Ladies and gentlemen, if this worked for you, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're new here, and leave a super thanks if this actually helped you that much and you appreciate my video that much. Leave a super thanks or become a member on my YouTube channel. I'm just here to help the Call of Duty community as best I can, and that's what I'm here to do. As always, peace out.